One of you has had a message.
Oh, he slacked me something.
Oh.
Very
professional. Yeah, keep it professional.
Safe for work.
Today, we're asking a chef and a normal home cook to test and review some TikTok food trends to see if they're actually worth the hype. Boys, you ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Croissants. You've broken up a croissant.
But have you read it, or are you just watching it? It's the rice paper croissant.
Oh, okay. Soaking rice paper in your eggy buttery mix, and you're making a croissant.
Oh my goodness, it doesn't look great. However, once it's baked...
Ooh.
So this is the trend of rice paper croissants. It's gone massive on TikTok, on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, it's everywhere. We are one of the last people to pick up on it.
Always.
So what we've given you is some rice paper. You've got eggs, milk, sugar, baking powder, some butter that you can melt, and some cinnamon, which is optional, but I think adds a little je ne sais quoi to your croissant.
I love these videos because we sit here and we have no idea what's coming. However, I did get a little sneaky glimpse of these earlier on, and I thought we were doing the rice paper pizza that Kush mentioned in the video and everyone went mad for in the comments. I've never heard of rice paper croissant.
So there is one way of looking at this, which is it's a cheat to making a croissant. It's a bit of fun and a bit of novelty, but also by using rice paper rather than pastry, these are gluten-free. So is this a celiac croissant?
Oh. In here so far we've got egg, milk, sugar, cinnamon, and then baking powder.
And some melted butter.
And Baz, much like you said with French toast or eggy bread, you're going to soak the rice paper, let it soak up all of that juice, roll them up, and bake them.
The next bit was tricky. What was the order, the layering?
Then it was basically, that went on there, and that went on there. And then that folded up like that. And this is a bit that's just so wrong.
So obviously we're making a plain one here, but if you read through the comments and all of the videos, lots of people saying they put fillings in the middle of them.
Yeah.
Imagine it with something like a Nutella in the middle of that.
Cheese.
Cheese, yeah, you're right.
Cheese and ham.
Cheese and ham.
Cheese and ham croissant.
Almond.
You could put flat cheese and ham between each layer, couldn't you?
And the creators of this say it tastes a little bit like a mixture between a croissant, French toast, and mochi. It's just under half an hour in the oven. Mm-hmm. We have our rice paper croissants.
I think we made it a bit eggy, and we should have cleaned it up because the egg has burnt, and the sugared egg. Once we've trimmed it down, it looks fine.
It's crispy on the outside, definitely, but it feels very gooey on the inside. It almost gives me spring roll vibes.
Layers.
Gooey layers. Delicious.
Buttery. Cinnamon sugar.
Is it giving you croissant vibes?
No.
Is it giving you croissant stroke French toast stroke mochi vibes?
Yes.
Yeah. You're right, there is definitely mochi nature to it in the middle.
But even when you cut into a croissant, the middle is different to the outside for sure. You've got that
Fluffy.
crispy outside, which this has got, tick. Inside a croissant, you have that fluffy middle. The French toast bit means this is more eggy, sweet eggy custardy than it is buttery, which a croissant would be. I don't know if it needed to be made into a croissant. If you took it as a sheet and crisped it up with some cinnamon sugar and you just got that crispy vibe, sure, delicious. I just think when you get down to that middle bit, which you unroll it again, and interesting you can do that. You wouldn't be able to do that with a croissant to literally unroll it. But it's glutinous, it's mochi, it's everything that it was described as, except croissant.
Yep. I think almost turning it into a croissant shape is what ruins it.
Because then your expectations are somewhere else.
Yes.
Okay, well, the rice paper croissant. Is it a trend that we're going to be following fast or just scroll past?
I think it's a trend for the wrong reasons. It's absolutely delicious, but it's not why it's a trend.
It's not a croissant. I'm not following it fast for a croissant or for a breakfast pastry or something to have with coffee, even though it's sweet. But I can see it having a place as a cooking technique elsewhere.
Scrolling past.
Let's move on to number 2.
Oh, he's got a smirk.
I've got a smirk, but Barry, do you have a message?
Hi guys. So it's...
Why is she breathing so heavily?
ASMR, I think it's a trend, Baz.
Barry. Barry, this is all about ASMR and mukbang.
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it makes that little shiver down your spine.
I don't like it. I prefer it when you do it.
I woke up severely dehydrated. So I ordered a cold fruit bowl called hwachae. It's a Korean dessert where you cut up all your favorite fruit and pour cold milk or any type of fizzy drink.
I'd have preferred you send us a video of it being made rather than this where we get uncomfortably close to the microphone slurping.
This
Mukbang. This is a Korean.
This is a whole culture that we are not that familiar with, and when you are first introduced to the ASMR mukbang thing, hearing the slurping in your earphones like that close and the breathing and the sniffing, and it does feel quite uncomfortable initially. However, people find so much comfort in it.
What I find amazing is it stemmed from a very, very wholesome tradition. It's considered almost shameful to eat alone in Korea.
Yep.
So when students would go away, they would then eat through Zoom or video call with their family back home rather than eat in their dorms alone.
Yeah.
So mukbang started as a very wholesome thing because of no one wanted to eat alone.
Yeah.
It's now turned into something that's very, very different about either how much can you eat or how noisily can you eat next to high quality microphones.
Yeah, just put that into real life. I wouldn't sit here eating my cold soup like this.
No, and I would, that just sent a shiver down my spine and not a good one.
It is not the mukbang that we are looking at today. It's the hwachae, a Korean fruit punch made with lots of different fruits, sometimes even flower petals, and it's soaked in flavoured milk and carbonated drinks.
I'm not sure how I feel about fizzy milk.
That's because we're taught that milk shouldn't be fizzy because that often implies a fermentation and a bad thing. But actually, why not?
So this has taken over TikTok. Amy Flammy is one of the most popular people and probably the original hwachae girl. The words, "It's 3 a.m. and I woke up severely dehydrated," are everywhere across TikTok now because of this dish and this video. Want to give it a go?
Not really.
What? No, we're going to give it a go.
Okay.
So what we've given you is a bowl. You've got ice, you've got a load of fruit. The fruit should be bite size, so you might need to chop some of it up. Melon is one of the predominant flavours as well. We've got strawberry milk and we've got Sprite, a lemonade, a soda.
I also notice that these Korean bowls, it's as much about the crunch of ice as it is about the jelly, as it is about the bite of fruit, and it is texture game always as much as it is flavour.
And what I think is really interesting about this as a TikTok trend is actually as a dish, this dates back to 600 AD in Korea. This is an ancient recipe that is still popular today and has been brought back into kind of pop culture through TikTok.
And back in 600 AD, they didn't even have freezers to make the ice. It would only have been made at the right time of year or when ice could have been brought from the mountains and stored. All the textures,
It's very inviting.
creamy milk, crunchy ice.
Fizzy.
Now Barry, just imagine.
No, I was taught manners.
Just Barry, just imagine. It's the middle of the night. It's 3 o'clock in
I'm
the morning.
so thirsty.
You've woken up.
I walked straight past the tap.
Hwachae.
It's like when we were taught about ramen and the correct way to eat ramen is about the slurp, and that's a sign of respect. And it's true that a lot of Korean content creators
that's nice.
slurp as they eat, and I presume therefore it is part of the culture.
I'm really enjoying myself here. It's a shame I'm sitting so close to this, but so refreshing.
As you can imagine, it's an incredibly seasonal dish, so the fruits that you have will depend on the season and what's available. There are thousands of recipes, thousands of different combinations that you could have. What do you think?
Milk and Sprite is a thing that's completely new to me here. What feels like a breakfasty, refreshing item. I think it's fantastic.
I wouldn't associate it with like a midnight snack, but I suppose if you wake up dehydrated, there's lots of liquid here.
Well then, hwachae, are you gonna follow fast?
Follow fast. I'll be honest, I don't think I need to make a bowl this big, but I quite like the concept.
I'm following fast on the fruit, but swiping fast past that slurp.
gonna be honest, Baz, I don't know how my tummy feels about fizzy strawberry milk now.
I'm a little bit,
On my tongue it was nice, but my tummy's sort of feeling a bit,
Why don't we have something to settle that? Evans,
no.
you have a message.
Want to take your Negroni to the next level? Just add sushi rice. Here's how to do it at home. To begin, add 2 tablespoons of uncooked sushi rice to a mixing glass. We're making a classic Negroni with equal parts Campari, sweet vermouth, and gin. Add ice and stir. The agitated rice will release its starch, creating a rounder mouthfeel.
So we are making a rice-washed Negroni. Now we've looked at things like bacon-washed or fat-washed spirits before. This is in the cocktail itself, using sushi rice and the starch within it to soften some of the flavours and round them out a bit more.
We know that short grain rice is definitely starchy. Think risotto, sushi.
Yeah.
We use pudding rice in the UK, and it is that really luxurious, creamy consistency without adding dairy. I'm fascinated what it's going to do to sugar and booze.
You know how we love a scientific experiment here on the channel, so we thought, why not make 2 different Negronis? One with no sushi rice, a standard Negroni, and then one with the sushi rice to see if it makes a difference.
Okay, what's your recipe?
I love a Negroni because A, it's tasty, B, it's a wonderful sipper, an aperitif or digestive, I think, but it's really easy because for me it's just 1-1-1 over ice. That, if you're using a good vermouth, you've got the sugar from the Campari and you've got a gin, that is a lovely cocktail.
Now let's get sciencey. So it's said that the starch in the uncooked sushi rice softens the heat and the harshness of the spirits. And when you agitate the rice within the cocktail, it will release the starches.
I get the logic.
Do you want some science?
What does starch do to an alcohol molecule?
Oh, Ben, I'm so glad you asked. Well, the rice's starch captures volatile compounds, including methanol and propanol, which contributes to the alcoholic taste, among others, such as esters and aldehydes. By masking these elements, your palate can focus on the other flavours.
And that's the beauty of something like vermouth and gin, which has those botanicals, is you've got so many other beautiful terpenes, smelly things, that make the drink delicious, but it is incredibly boozy. I feel like it's moved from glorious cocktail that the light just glistens through from the, the lamp by the table you're reading by, kind of that wonderful elegance, to cosmopolitan.
Does give that vibe, doesn't it?
Or just a blood orange juice. But I'm intrigued to try it.
That is sensational.
I love that. It's so bitter, so strong.
So you've had the first drink.
Okay.
Now for the sushi rice washed Negroni.
Yeah. A different mouthfeel.
Completely different. What I like about the original is it's obviously very bitter, but it's quite clean in its finish. Here, because of the viscosity it adds, it's coating my mouth more. It's creamy in its finish rather than citrusy in its finish.
So obviously we're doing it with a Negroni, but think about other grown-up drinks, an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, those kind of drinks which are so boozy and are real sippers. To soften that slightly, maybe as an entry point into grown-up cocktails.
Yeah, and whether it's that short cocktail, think about a martini shaken or stirred with rice as well. I think there's lots of avenues for it.
It's a fantastic talking point. At the bar, seeing a cocktail being made and rice being poured in, you're going to ask questions.
Cocktails with rice. Is this a trend you're going to follow fast or just scroll past?
Follow fast, but comment down below. Has anyone actually tried cooking the rice that's left? Otherwise, I feel like it's a little bit wasteful. We know how precious every grain of rice is in Japan, where sushi is a thing.
I'm following fast.
Room for one more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Final one, boys. Barry, I have sent you a link.
Ah, yes, seen this. I've been intrigued by this for a long time.
Yeah, I actually follow the Cornish Sea Salt Company, so I have seen this. When I first saw it, I thought, where on earth would you ever need to do that?
Here we are.
And then I thought, if you were washed up for a whole weekend, it might come in handy. Turns out it didn't. And now here we are.
So this is the fish oil Wick. It's a novel way to warm your fish. You lay some paper towel or kitchen roll over a can of oily fish, light it, and it will impart smoke and warm your fish. It's going to add something a little bit different to our fish. They used it to make pan contomat.
Ooh, brilliant.
Give it a go?
Yeah.
A couple of thoughts here straight off, which I'm very excited for. One, tinned fish are making a comeback. Premium oily tinned fish.
And I think that's thanks to us.
And the date we went on.
Yeah, exactly.
TikTok
Two,
fish dot
twice.
net. That was a TikTok thing.
Yeah.
So what we've given you is some tinned fish. I think you've both got sardines. There's some kitchen roll here. Basically, lay the kitchen roll over the top of the tin, light it. And in the meantime, we'll turn on the air conditioning, the fans, and open the doors.
So my tin said it was 70% small sardines, olive oil, and salt, which suggests it's about 30% fuel.
So it said that some tins of fish can burn for up to 25 minutes, which is plenty of time to heat up the fish.
Kapow! I can already smell fish.
When I first saw this, I assumed it was all about flavour, not about heating it up.
Now it's important to say a couple of things. First of all, don't use kitchen roll or toilet paper that has any chemicals in it.
Yeah.
And second of all, this isn't going to work if you get fish that's in brine.
It's
Tuna.
the oil is the fuel.
Yes.
And don't use a wet wipe.
Yes.
And while it's doing its thing, we can grate some tomatoes, olive oil, salt, pepper, and, well, we say it could burn for 20 minutes.
Could burn for up to 25.
Crack open the beer. Should we have a look and see what that's like? Because we can always relight the wick.
Right, let's have a look.
His magician tricks coming out. Hey!
Oh la la. It's the bit I don't see them do, peeling it off. Does it come off cleanly? Oh yes!
Well, I'm going to leave it there in case you want to re-wick it.
Oh, we're steaming. When I first saw that, I thought this was a gimmick. I thought it might be a little bit dangerous in terms of like the amount of black ash you might leave on top of it, but the fact it's come off clean like that.
And I think we only did that for 5 minutes. The tin is so hot you couldn't pick it up. The fish are warm, and it is perfect.
So yes, it's a little bit of fun, it's a little bit of theatre, really good if you're camping or outdoors,
Yep.
that kind of thing. But does it make a difference when you come to eat the sardines?
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's warm.
Am I getting smoke?
With all the deliciousness of the bread and
Wow.
tomato and the garlic and the olive oil, I'm not sure. But, yes, on its own,
Oh yeah. Yeah, isn't it?
that's like that has just been
Yeah.
set over a little
Yeah.
charcoal grill. That is clever, smart, and one of those back pocket hacks that you will, at some point,
Yeah.
probably not for 4 or 5 years, but then you'll go, do you know what I remember? And you'll try it and it's brilliant. We only had that lit for 5 minutes. I think if you wanted all of the fish to be as warm as the top layer, you'd need twice as long. But I felt like that wick was going to burn and burn and burn
Yeah.
and burn and burn. So keep going.
Is this a trend, or has it always been around and we've only just found out about it?
This is my issue with trends. It's not a trend. It's a viral video, but it's a great one.
Well boys, the fish oil wick, is this a trend that you could follow fast, or are you just gonna scroll past?
Follow fast and favourite for another time.
Definitely. I'm subscribing. Is that what you do?
Amazing, well, over to you in the comments. Let us know down below, which of these trends would you give a go, and what should we be testing next?